Hey guys, welcome back to Impossible Mowers. In today's video, we're going to be showing you guys what to look out for and how to fix valve train noise that's not coming from the rocker arms, but coming from the head valves. Alright guys, we're back. Got our extensions and our little toolkit here. So, let's start by taking off this little black cover. I don't know which one it's gonna be. I guess we'll try out 5/16 and see what that does. That's the magic number, 5/16. So, alrighty. And we're gonna reach over here, grab our wonderful brand new D-wall extensions. Not going to go anything too big, just a small little guy. It's not like we're reaching down to China. Anyways, and I just had my little ratchet wrench here. Where did that go? I don't know where I put my ratchet wrench. That is odd. Just had it with me. Might be over here. May have left it in by mistake. No. Got the big one right there. That's a 3/8. I need the 1/4 inch. Alright, let me find my ratchet and then I'll get back to you guys. Alright guys, got our ratchet. Finally found it. It was under the frame here the whole time. Alright, so I'm going to slap it in fast play, and because it's going to take a long time for me to get this off, and then the carburetor and the solenoid out. So I'll slap it on fast play and take it from there. I just wanted to stop the video fast play here and show you guys this. Look how messy that carburetor is. All that muck. Probably old debris. Could be grass. Good lord. Ooh, and there's some in the carburetor. Man, that would explain why it runs rough. There, right there. She's a very messy girl, very messy carburetor here. So nevertheless, we're gonna pull off the choke and throttle linkage, and it looks like the fuel line here, and take it from there. Put it back on fast play. Alright guys, I'm back. I stopped the slow-mo because it was just taking me a long time. It was going to take me too long to get the carburetor out. Fast play, not slow-mo, my bad. Anyways, good and bad things. There are good and bad things here. Good thing is we got the carburetor off. Everything looks okay in there. There's no rust, no sign of anything bad going on in there. The bad news is I had to freaking get this. I had to use my pliers to rip that fuel line off. Probably tore a hole in it, but I got some new fuel line for that. And this carburetor just looks absolutely shot. I'll keep it and see if we can't get it running again. But I'm not running anything that dirty on this good old rig. So we do have a brand new one of these from that Kohler twin cam we used to run that blew up. I saved the carburetor on that because when I put it in, it was only like a week old, and then the motor blew sadly. But that's a brand new carburetor, and it's from the Kohler company, so it's not a Walbro piece of junk. These usually are junk anyways. I never liked them because when you buy rebuild kits from them, they'd always have these little gaskets that would go on the solenoid here. And they would never work, and your fuel would leak, and then they would always send you the wrong needle, and that's just my experience. But we do have a better one of these. I think we have a Nicky. It's a Nicky. Those are good. It's in the old US General over there. So we'll replace this when we put everything back together. But as of right now, we're just going to keep this the way it is. Sadly, the solenoid wiring broke off. But one of the good things is we do have brand new solenoid wiring from that old carburetor over there. Ooh. So that's what's happening right now. I'm just gonna put that off to the side. Got my drain bowl here. My camera's acting weird. Got the drain bowl down right there, so it's catching everything we're throwing at it. So, all right. I think what we're going to do next is, now that we have the carburetor off, we're going to be taking off the blower shroud, making sure we don't kink any of these fuel lines or the choke and rod to the governor there, and just take it easy. And after we take this blower shroud off, we're going to start taking off the carburetor cover here. So I'm going to stop the video right here and start playing it back when we get all the tools out and we start digging into this. Alright guys, we're back. Got the old DeWalt and the old 5/16. Start zipping these bolts off. Uno. Don't forget about these two in the back here. If I can have my camera look at them. I'm just lightly zipping them off. So I'll be coming back for these by hand. Man, that was on there. All right. Oh, forgot this one right here. Alrighty. Start collecting these by hand. These ones in the back as well. Now, one thing I am going to say is these bolts are different sizes, but the way you can tell which one's which, the long one right here is going to this oil one, because you have to get through this little thick plastic part, through the shield, and then into the block. So keep that in mind. Different size bolts. Keep those separate. Keep those separate. And I think Capresto, we might be good. You can't. Oh, almost forgot the little guy. Oh, maybe that's another one. I didn't know. I could have sworn. So maybe it's 9. I think it's 9 then. 9 bolts. That makes number 9. I don't think the extension was necessary. Nope. Can't let that one go. Alright, and the shroud should just pop right off. Oh yeah. It kind of connects right here to the magneto or the coil. Push it down. And voila. Nice and clean. Well, not perfect, but good enough. Let's let that sucker right over here. I got everything kind of placed on the floor here, so different spots. Alrighty. So she is a little dirty, but I think it'll be fine. Just got to make sure when we take the head off, just big heads up for you guys out there, when you're taking the heads off, make sure nothing gets in the actual bore of the cylinder head, and I'll show you why after we get the muffler off. Actually, wait a minute. No, we got to take this little shield off. So looks like we got a bolt here, one bolt right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. Well, 5, but this one came with the blower shroud. So 2 on each side, and then that one in the middle. All right. So I'll get back to you guys when I zip this thing off, and we'll see what it looks like under there. All right, guys, we're back. Got all the bolts off on the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take off this big muffler bolt here. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. We are using a 13mm socket. Nice. Alright, got the bolt and the washer. So that's just going to hang around. It's really not going to move anywhere until we actually drop the muffler itself. So what we can at least do is get to the last and final bolt up here. So kind of bend this back a little. There we go. And we'll go back to our 5/16 socket right here. Just lightly. There we go. I'm using the old DJI camera, so it's looking pretty good. Quality's not half bad. And there we go. All right, that was the last and final bolt. So this won't come off. It looks like it won't come off until we take the overhead valve cover off, which we will do in just a little bit. I want to take the muffler off first. I'll have to do that off camera. If I can even, I don't even know where the muffler goes. I think it goes underneath the block. Ooh. Huh, maybe we might just be able to just take the muffler and the head off too at the same time. That might be what we have to do, because the muffler, I'll show you here. The muffler doesn't go to the side, it just goes straight underneath the head, so I guess we'll just pull that cover off and see what happens. Alright guys, we're back, and now we're going to pull off the head through the old Kohler here. So, just curious what kind of size of bolt we're using here. Alright, so we are using a 10mm socket. These old DeWalt sockets, I'll tell you what, they're really great. Okay, so we're not going to pull this off with the drill because we don't want to risk hurting or injuring the bolt in any way. So we're going to just very lightly pull this off by hand. Actually, you know what? I should probably get that drain pan over here. This old bucket. Without tilting the camera over. Try to move the camera. I have it on a little stand right now, so if I tilt it, I don't want the camera to fall. Alright. Very good. Quick warning, if you guys have never taken off a overhead valve before, especially right after you run these motors, they will leak oil. Even if it's just like you ran it, you parked it, it sat for a couple weeks, and then you decided to open it, it's still going to leak oil because those valves are pumping in and pumping out that oil, and it sits in this little casing, and when you take it out, as you can see here, last time I opened it, a lot of oil came out in the muffler. That'll burn off, so she will smoke a little bit, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It does it with the V-twin every day because the overhead valve cover gaskets need to get replaced, and it always drips oil on the mufflers, so it looks like I'm burning rings, oil rings, but it's really just the muffler burning off that oil. So anyways, we're just going to start. There we go. Nice and easy. I always do this precious stuff by hand. You know, the blower shroud, those kind of bolts. Those are replaceable. Really easy to replace. These ones, oh, that one's on there. These can be tricky to replace, and even if it's been sitting for a long time, like this one has, snapping a bolt could be a walk in the park. It could be super, super easy. So, I just never risk it. Testing how strong my arm is because I'm doing this one-handed. Ooh, not strong enough, I guess. Okay. This one's on there pretty good. There we go, got it. And knowing Kohler, they're always going to have that one on the bottom, I'm assuming. Yep, knew it. There shouldn't be oil coming out of this because I already took it off. But just in case, you never know, there might be that one time you think everything's good and then right when you go to do it, it doesn't work out the way you planned. These Kohlers, the gaskets are really hard to find, not because they're like rare or anything, but there's so many of them out there. On Amazon, eBay, even the Kohler website, you have to actually put in the model number of the motor, which you're supposed to do anyways. That's what you always do when you're shopping for parts. But the model number that goes to this motor, there's like a lot of model numbers that look so close to it. There's just that one letter or number that's different. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like the models for these gaskets, there's a lot of them out there, and you just got to really have the eye for each and every letter and number on your model number because they can be tricky. Especially on that V-twin over there on Chuck. There's so many Courages out there. It's crazy. There's twin cam, single cylinders, V-twins, and all that. So, just be careful about that. Alright. Very carefully take these out. This guy's being stubborn. Alright, like I said, you could pull these out with an impact, no problem, but I'm just not that kind of guy who likes to risk things because right when you start risking things, stuff happens and then you're spending more money than you planned, so Kubota rim there for some parts. Okay, that one's tough. Ooh, see how that one's longer? My bad. Wasn't even showing on the camera. Alright. Maybe they're all the same length. I think they're all the same length. Alrighty. Now I'm going to put this back on the stand because I'm going to need two hands. I don't want to have that overhead valve cover spill out or anything like that. That would not be good. Not good. Righty. Yeah, we're gonna mangle it out of there. We'll be cleaning this for sure. Holy cow, bud. Of course, my camera falls off its stand. Usual. Good news is the cover looks great. Of course, right as I said that, the friggin' bolt falls out. Alright, one potato, two potato. Alright, gonna have to definitely clean this guy out. It's looking pretty rough. A lot of oily stains. Alrighty, I guess we'll loosen up these rods. These look like they're just standard bolts. I'm so used to the ones where it's like a bolt on the outside and then a Torx bit on the inside. The Briggs has it, the Kohlers, just about everything I own has it except for this motor, which is a bolt. I'm hoping, because it's Kohler, I'll bet you it's the same 5/16 as we used before. That's not 5/16. Well, let me get the bolt. Actually, I might have it right here. Totally forgot this was next to me. This little kit here. It's got all the small bolts and stuff. Is that gonna be it? Yep, that's it. This is a 8mm socket. 8mm socket. Keep that in mind. And we're going to be doing this by hand with a ratchet, especially when you're tooling around with valves. Ugh, jeez, my V's are R's. Just gotta be careful. Man, that felt like I broke it. Those were on there good. Whew. I'll put this camera on the stand here. Good heavens, that was close. Okay, you don't have to take them all out all the way. In fact, screw that in a little more. Just to get the rocker arm off of the valves. I'm checking for push rods because if it's knocking, it could be a bent rod. Just kind of checking here. Seeing the push rod is bent. It could be just kind of spinning it. Looks fine to me. This looks pretty straight. We're going to put this carefully on a ground. Alright. This is the side I'm curious at because the clicking's coming from the intake stroke here. Okay. Looser. I will do another video on how to lash these valves. Holy moly, is that bent? I would not doubt if this little rod was bent. Wouldn't doubt it. Really hard to see whether it's bent or not. Doesn't look to be bent. Looks pretty okay. So, I'll get right back with you guys. I'm going to get the bolts ready, take the head off, and then carry on from there. Alright guys, we're back. I was about to end the video a couple minutes ago until last second. I gave it another shot with the impact, and we got these balls loosened out. We're going to just loosen them a little more. We had to torch this bolt here in the back where the ratchet's currently sitting because it was bad. It was really in there. So we're just gonna kind of take these all out nice and easy like. So let me pull all these bolts out. That'll take a while, and then get back to you guys when I'm done with that. Well guys, we're back and everything looks fine. I mean, the head gasket's brand new. I mean, this thing looks really nice, really clean. couple of iffy spots, but there's no sign of any blown head gasket. Our valves here appear to be in all the way. I'm not feeling any kind of, they're not twisting in any way. So this looks really clean, except, you know, a little bit of carbon here, but that's just par for the course. And in here it's just fantastic. There's no scoring on the, there's nothing. I think the only reason why it's even black and not shiny is because when we ran this thing and it wouldn't start, she would puff up a lot of smoke and a lot of that carbon from the carburetor, given how dirty it is anyways. Slap that brand new one on. But I mean, I just don't get it. I don't know why it's clinking like that. It doesn't clink anymore. Kind of going through it. I mean, it's beautiful. There's nothing here that tells me that there's anything going wrong. I have no idea. I don't know why it's clinking like that. I mean, I don't know. This is the first for me. Everything looks perfect. But the moment I put those push rods in, she clinks. But it doesn't seem like a valve issue at this point. Either the push rod's bent and I just don't see it, which in that case, I'll look through the push rods again. Or it could be the top of the piston smacking that spark plug. That could be another, that could be something there. But then again, if it was, that thing would be wrenched because we haven't touched this thing at all. And if it was hitting that spark plug, we would have been seeing carnage. I mean, when these things hit the pistons, especially when you're running them, that top part could just break off, go right in your cylinder bore, score up everything, and just, you'd have a locked up motor within minutes. And there's no sign at all of any kind of scoring. It's really weird. Well guys, after taking that head off and taking everything off, I was kind of curious as to why this thing was clinking. I mean, we looked at the valves, we looked at the piston for scoring, the head gasket, the spark plug, nothing. Not even the springs and the rocker arms. Everything's dialed, everything's fine. And then it occurred to me to check the rods as a last minute result. And it's really hard to tell, but when you roll these rods down a flat surface on the US General, you can see that the intake rod on the top here is kind of tweaked a little bit. And when it's sitting on that plate right here, right on these little plates, when it sits on there and it's just a little tweaked, and you push that, you know, you do your rotation, you can see how that clinking is happening, especially when it's only on the intake. So that wraps up today's video. It was the rods the whole time, so double check this was almost impossible to see. So always double check your rods. Make sure that none of them are bent, especially if you're working on these type of single cylinders, or really anything that's engine related. Really just check your rods, because I didn't know that was going to happen. So we're going to, before we wrap up this video, I want to put the OHV cover back on and then just wait a couple days for some parts to come in. Gonna buy some new rods. So we're gonna wait for that, put that there. We're gonna install the new carburetor and plumb up the wiring, put everything together, and then just put the blower shroud back on and call her a good day. So I'll get back to you guys when I start doing this operation. Alright guys, we're back. It's actually the very next day. I worked on this old girl for a long time last night, trying to get just the intake in. It is very tricky. I'll actually show you right here. right underneath this long screw right here, there's this little orange adapter that sits on top of the intake so you can mount the air filter. It's a bit of a challenge to screw on, but nevertheless it worked. It's on there good. So we got the front shield on, the overhead valve cover on. There's no reason to put the hose on here. You can see how it's kind of cracked right there. Just a little cracked. But I mean, I got the new wiring for the new carburetor dialed in. Under here, it's not like messy up wiring. It's a plug-in wire, so you can plug it, unplug it, nice and neat. But I just put the electrical tape on it because when we put the hood on, I don't want to risk this wire grounding on the hood, and then before you know it, you got an electrical fire. So just thought, why risk it? So for the rest of this video, I'm going to be fast playing me putting on the blower shroud, and then after that we're going to be dolling up the wiring, fixing up the hood, and then that'll be it for today's video. Just kind of sum it up. I played for you in real time, but I don't want this video getting too long, and there's a lot of time it's gonna have to take to get all this set up. I'm also, just for kicks and giggles, I'm throwing in a new magneto. Not that it needs it, but I have a spare magneto that I found in the US General, so just swap out magnetos, make it a little easier. But so yeah, that's the plan. So without further ado, let's kick on the fast play. We're back. I was sitting here for a long time, probably 20-30 minutes, just trying to get this blower shroud on. Just realized I forgot to put the bolt right in here. And what that does is it pushes this little firewall. It just pushes it forward so it sits nice and easy on the shroud. And right when I put it on, she came on like butter. So very good. I'm not going to put the spark plug in or just do anything fancy like that, because we are going to be putting the new push rods in, which we will do a video of, so there will be, a little part 2 coming up. But I think the best thing we can do right now is just put this little cover on. Where is it? Come on. Here we go. And wherever the screw to it went, I'm sure it's around somewhere. Oh, there it is. Sometimes this stuff rolls out of the shop. And there we go. I think we're good. So that is it. I mean, I'm gonna do the hood off camera because that's just gonna be a while, but that's it. And like I said before in the video, I'm so happy it was a bent push rod. That could have been a lot worse. Could have been something internally wrong with it, like a broken cam, maybe a crank bearing. You never know. Those are rare, but it's possible. So that's it for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this video with your friends. And I will leave a link in the bio for the model number for this engine in case any of you guys want to find parts. Or if anybody out there has a part that they need for this specific motor and they need the model number for it, I will put that all down in the description. I hope you all stay safe, and I'll catch you all next time.